is going to be part 2 of the extra credit coloring book setup. And in this one, I'm going to teach you a little bit more advanced technique for adding color quickly. And we're going to use some selections to isolate our colors and hopefully make some of this drawing go by more quickly than some of the previous techniques of manually filling in each one. I'm going to show you a faster way to be able to fill in different colors inside of this this project. So we're going to start out the same way. We are going to open up our video. You can see this one's inverted actually. Our last ones we had the text on the bottom, so I'm just going to stick with that format where the text is on the bottom and then the image is on the top. We're going to start off with that same technique of selecting the artist's image and then going to the blending mode and selecting multiply again. This time we're not going to lock it down. We will lock down the artist's name just to keep it there. On the we're going to add in the color layer as well, so we're going to add that new layer and we're going to name it color just like we did in the last video. Only this time we're going to leave the artist image unlocked. So we have to be a little bit cautious with how we move around at this point and how we interact with that layer, because it can cause problems if you move things around while you're drawing. So you want this to stay put, but we need to have it open to be able to make a selection. So to make a selection means it means that you are choosing which pixels are going to be active in the drawing, and only those pixels can be interacted with. So when we make a selection, it's only those colors, or only those pixels, excuse me, that get interacted with. The rest of them are left alone. So for this technique, I'm going to use the magic wand, and you can find that right here. It looks like this. And we're just going to make one quick change to it. By default, it looks like this, where it has, I think it says create new is its default name. Let's see what the other ones are. Let's see. This is unite, replace. Okay, so default is replace. We want it to say unite. So we click on this button right here, and basically what that means is every time I make a selection, I can add to the selection by clicking on something else. So what I want to do in this case is I want to look for colors that I am going to be using more than once, or areas where I'm going to be using the same color more than once. And so some places I might start out from might be these stars right here, and maybe this magic wand right here, and some of these little bursts in here, and these stars over here. I might have those be all the same color. And so what that's going to look like is this. I'm going to zoom in close. I'm going to hit my wand tool, and I'm just going to click. And remember, it's really important now that we're on this layer. So I just click on the inside there, and let's see. I made a mistake here. I want to make sure that this button right here is selected, contiguous. It means only select pixels that are touching each other. So when I click in here, now just this area on the inside is selected. Before I had everything that was white was selected. But I only want the inside here. And then I'm going to come here, and remember, we're adding to the selection. So every time I click into a new space, it's going to add that to my selections. Now, holding down the space bar, I'm just going to travel through my drawing, and I'm going to click on anything that I want to be the same color at this point. So again, all the sparkling stars are going to be the same color, at least in my drawing. They don't have to be the same in your drawing. You can come up with whatever color scheme you are interested in. But I'm just going to kind of go through and find all the places where there are stars and or shines, or little explosions, color explosions, and I'm going to make those all the same color. So I think I've got them at this point. However, if I zoom in really close here, you may be able to notice that the selection only goes right up to the edge of the of the line here, and I need that selection to go all the way over underneath the black area here. So I need to go over 2 more pixels. And to do that, we do this technique that says we're going to go to selection or select, modify, and choose expand. And I'm just going to choose 2 pixels right here and press OK, and watch what happens with this line right here. When I press that, now it's expanded, and my color that I can fill in here will go all the way up to the edge of the black line, and that's what I want, because otherwise I'm going to get this gray area in between there. And that should be the same on all of these. Yep, looks the same on all of these. There might be a little bit of work that I could do in here, but I'm not going to worry too much about it at this point. So as long as I get it close to the edge there, most of it's going to get covered up. We can do a little bit of manual cleanup later on. Okay, so now the easy part. Remember I said this is going to be easier. So I've got all of those selections made. I expanded the selection by 2 pixels, and now I'm going to go to my color layer. With the selection still active from this layer, I'm going to switch to my color layer, and I'm going to apply the color to the areas that are selected on the color layer. So I'm going to choose my color first. I think these are going to be, yeah, just like a kind of a bright yellow. Maybe I'll go a little bit softer with this, add a little white to it, kind of tint the color just a bit, and press OK. And then, so I have my foreground color selected right here. My color layers is chosen. I'm going to go to Edit and Fill. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go to Edit and then to Fill. And when I get the Fill menu, it says fill with what? Well, I want to fill it with the foreground color. Select foreground, opacity 100%, and then I'm just going to press OK. And you'll see now all of those areas that I had selected are filled in with that color. Okay. Now I can deselect my selections. So Command or Control and D, and they will be deselected. And you see they're colored in. If I turn off the drawing, this is what I've got. Turn the drawing back on. This is what I've got. Now, let's work on maybe another section here. So let's see if, let's look at maybe this character right here with the Adobe Max shirt on here. I can see he has arms, face, ears, another arm that are exposed and will show a skin color. So I'm going to choose to make adjustments to all of his, and fill in the color to all of his body parts at the same time, and then I'm going to do one more step after that too. So coming back here, following the same technique, same set of steps, I'm going to select the image first, then I'm going to come to the magic wand tool. I'm going to click into these spaces. So I need this arm, I need this face, don't forget we also need this ear, so we're going to click in there too. And then we need this other arm as well, but I'm going to zoom out to see that because I can't see it very well from there. And I think I got it. Let's zoom in. Looks like I got it, and there's just a little bit of the hand here still to select. So it looks like we have everything there. I've got this arm, I've got this arm, I got this face, and this ear. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. So select, modify, expand by 2 pixels. It's at default now for the last setting that I've used, which was 2 pixels, so it'll stay at 2 pixels. Press OK. You see the expansion goes out underneath the lines there. Next, I'm going to switch to the color scheme here. And then I'm going to select a color. And I'm going to use like a skin tone here. Maybe something that's like, I don't know, lighter brown. Yeah, something like that. That's good. Press OK. And then go to Edit and Fill. choose the foreground color, press OK, and there we have it. Okay, so we've got this character, but there's a little bit more that we can do here. So there's a clue in this image of where our light is coming from. And that is this shadow that is underneath our subject's neck, which tells us that the light is coming from above and coming down onto our character. So if we want to go, make this really outstanding image, what we'll do is come in and we will select the skin tone. We'll make it a little bit darker like this. We'll press OK. And now with this still selected, I'm just going to start to paint. And remember, I'm in the color layer here. I'm just going to start to paint, and I'm going to kind of match like what would happen if the light was coming down here. Well, if the light was coming down like this, it would be casting a shadow from his sleeve onto his shoulder, like this. And I'll make it curved because his arm is round. And that might also mean that underneath his hand, right here, is also getting a shadow cast onto it. So I'm going to make that, as we curve around the corner, that shadow is going to get slightly more curved as it tapers away, because the roundness of the arm is changing direction right here. I could do the same thing up in here. Maybe his hat is casting a little bit of a shadow across his brow. We may see some of that shadow right here on his neck. And you can play this out, as you see fit here, looking for where we would see shadows and highlights. I'm going to cast a little shadow even from this. And I don't have to worry about, going outside the lines because the selection is made already and it won't change. So I can only work with the colors that are the pixels that are inside of the selection. So that makes it a lot easier for me to just freely maneuver. Now I've got my shadow. I want to add a highlight to the top arm, because if the light is coming down like this, that means that there's light striking here, there's midtone, and then shadow on the bottom. So in this section right here, I want to sample from this color. So I can just tap in here and it'll automatically sample that color. And then I'm going to add white to it to create a tint like this. I'll press OK. And then up on the top now, I'm going to start to add what would be a highlight like this. And then maybe just a little bit on his face here. Since the light is casting a shadow below his chin, that means there must be light shining on his face. I could put a little bit here, a little bit on his lip. Just to kind of show where light may be on here. And maybe I'll even go a step further. Put a little bit out here, just to add, some levels of detail. Adding the highlight here, a little bit across the palm, something like that. And that's about it. Let's see, what else I got here? Let's do Command 0 and zoom out. Now that we're done, we're going to deselect. So Command D to deselect. And this is what we have. That's what we drew underneath our selections. This is the line drawing on top. I'll do one more just for reference. I'll do blue jeans on all of these characters. So I'm going to do blue jeans on this person, and on this person, and this person, and this person right here. Let's do this one more time. Okay, so back to our artist page, because this is a new selection. Magic wand tool. Click into this space and this space. This one, the pocket. This leg, this leg. It's really important to kind of look around and zoom in to see what you might be missing. So there's this part right here, and then this part of the leg right here, and this one, and this one. It's kind of like both sides of the seam on the jean. I'm going to use this one too, and then I'm going to go back and lighten it later. or darken it. I'm going to do this guy's jeans too. There's his pocket, there's his leg. There's probably more to him. I think this part is part of his leg too. This kid with the shorts. What else? I guess I could probably do this guy too. Just for this demo here. Let's go ahead and fill in a bunch of shapes at the same time. Got this one right here, and this leg, and this. So that's all the jeans. And then I'm going to expand the selection. So select, modify, expand by 2 pixels. There we go. Move over to the color layer. Select a foreground color. Again, I'm going to go for like blue jeans kind of look. So maybe a little bit darker, something like this. Yeah, maybe something like that. Press OK. That's choosing my foreground. And now edit and fill. Using the foreground color, press OK. Okay, now we've got all these people. Oh, see, I missed one right there. I missed that one leg right there. That's okay, we can come back and fill that in again. We can just do it right now. So, magic wand. Right here, can I add to that selection? Oh yeah, it looks like it did it. And then, let's do select, modify, expand. Okay. And then color layer, edit, fill, foreground. There we go. I think we have everything there. Yep, looks pretty good. At this point, I could choose to go in and do some of these areas where it's going to be darker. So let's do some shades here. Go ahead and select a darker color. And I'm just going to color in like this section right here. What would be darker? This leg's going to cast a shadow onto this leg right here, because the light's coming down from above, as we saw from the one character who shows us where the light source is coming from. If you don't see a light source in your drawing, if there's no like obvious place where the shadows are coming from, then you can make up your own, and you can just make a decision on your own and just stick with it. Just be consistent with your shadows. Let's see. I do this area here. The other side. Anything that's on the inside like this is going to be darker because there's going to be a shadow there. Could do a line down here, shadow. And remember, you don't have to stay inside the lines, because the only part that is going to be affected is what's active inside of the selection. Side right here, maybe a little bit across here. Let's see. Okay, so this is looking okay. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. Maybe do a little bit of shadow from the t-shirt falling across his leg here. Inner leg, and I think that's probably good for right now. My next step is I'm going to deselect, and here's my drawing so far. You can just go ahead and continue to add to this. using the same technique. You can use a mix of two different techniques, so you don't have to you don't have to go in and select each one. If there's an area that you know that you want to work on and you feel comfortable with applying the color, by all means just go in and grab the paintbrush and do it. But if you are looking to do like lots of different areas at the same time, like you want to fill them in really quickly, that the technique that I'm showing in this video is really helpful for doing that. So selecting lots of areas at the same time, applying the color. It's a little bit more complicated, obviously, but if you can pick up the workflow, then it can help speed up your work quickly. Plus it sets those selections for the selection boundaries that are going to be helpful for filling in highlights and shadows quickly as well. So I'm just kind of going through and picking out these little color areas. I'm going to leave that one like that. What else I got here? I think just that for now. So you could do the same thing in here, really. You can take your selection tool and select like a color. This is just showing like how to do highlights and shadows. Maybe if you've already deselected something. If you come in here and we can do the same thing. In order to lighten this now, to make a highlight, I'm actually gonna choose just a lighter orange. Instead of tinting it, I'm just gonna go to the lighter side of the color wheel by adding a yellow orange here instead of doing a tint. I'm going to move to a lighter tone in the color wheel. And these will be the highlights here. This is where the sun's coming from, or the light's coming from. And just a little bit like this. Maybe some here. And then for the rest of it, I'm going to sample this color, and then I'm going to go darker, so more towards red. So red-orange. And then I'm just going to get the bottom edges here. I'm probably going to be pretty consistent with that. A little bit down here. Not too much. And this is just being consistent with that color that we saw on the kid's face before. Let's go back and grab this color again. Just a little highlight right there. A little highlight here. Let's see what that looks like. Command D, and there we go. So working with selections to speed up your drawing process, selecting large groups of color at the same time, and also adding highlights and shadows by isolating an area using the Magic Wand selection tool. One of many different selection tools here, but in this particular case, the most helpful for what we're doing. Oh, I can see I missed a leg right here. I missed that this guy's leg right here, so I have to go back and color those in. But hopefully that was helpful for you, and you're able to use that technique to make your extra credit assignments. Remember, these are to help support your grade and support your learning in the multimedia class. And if you need a little bit of extra work, you want to prove your persistence and pursuit of excellence, then these are assignments for you. All right.